Good morning. It seems prudent to elaborate a little further on our last communication as far as the experience is concerned. As we described, as one is further and further stepping onto the rainbow bridge into the next density, the contrast between the new experience of flow, a sense of an expanded presence within the self, the experience of timelessness, so to speak, and then the inevitable, at this point, reoccurrence of the confines of the third density experience can be a stark and difficult contrast to explore. The vacillation at this point, as we said, is unavoidable, but also confrontational. One may experience it as a sensation of great joy, quiet content, or lightness of spirit, while upon return to the confinement of third density consciousness and its reference points, one may feel not only the confinement itself, but perhaps despair, judgment, doubt regarding the lightness of being, regarding the return to the confinement that one now inhabits. This vacillation is the nature of the process, but can be disturbing and filling one with a sense of feeling abandoned, while one is indeed abandoning old constructs. Albeit these old ways of linear functioning, of controlling the material via a linear understanding of how to navigate this world, have been familiar and even constituting a sense of home, a sense of comfort, a sense of anchoring, how to be an acceptable, functioning human being. This is who I am. This is how I function. This is how I keep myself anchored and safe. You are indeed leaving this home, and even though it has outgrown its meaning in many ways, a longing, a kind of homesickness, a grieving may occur, which can be very disorienting and equally painful, and create a sensation of, now what? How will I be able to be? How will I be able to do? When in the nonlinear experience, naturally, these questions simply will not arise, and a sense of ease and trust occurs instead, as that is the nature of the fourth density experience. At this poignant juncture, one may experience this alternation many times in a given day, which can feel like a roller coaster, as we said. As this process will be gradual, know that your experience is the nature of the process. It is not a personal problem, even though it can only be subjectively experienced and traversed. All of it is taking place in quick alternations before a new way of being will fully stabilize. The process will vary for each being in duration and intensity. But we like to address, furthermore, the experience of abandonment in particular. Indeed, you are abandoning a world that humanity has functioned in, has been entrained into, has been anchored in via its carbon-based DNA, its fundamental experience of separation from other, from everything, and ultimately its separation from itself. Yet at the same time, the experience of abandonment is the core wound, one may say, of this realm, as it is the emotional frequency that arises from the fundamental experience of being separate and alone as a being that is disconnected within this third density experience. We know you often talk about abandonment issues and how to overcome them. Abandonment issues created by traumas of the past. But we would like to say, while not discounting the experience of those traumas, that indeed abandonment is the core wound within humanity for everyone who has been born into this realm by definition. Thus far, your answer to it was to address the traumas that may have occurred without fully understanding the baseline of the situation, so to speak. You have tried with all your might to either take control over those feelings, to integrate them, to transcend them, or to avoid situations where abandonment could occur at all costs. Nevertheless, the wound remained, inevitably so. Probably the greatest playing field of this energy has been in your experience of relationships. Lovers, husbands, wives, parents, siblings, friends, co-workers. Relationships permeated with great hope and great fear, either to finally leave abandonment behind or to be devoured by it. With other words, the promise of the cure in third density remained in the external. The separated self attempting to find wholeness through, via the confirmation of other separated and therefore abandoned beings that it is traveling with. A catch-22, to say the least, or the blind leading the blind, inevitably creating further abandonment for all involved. Now, within the context of this transformation into a fourth density being, an already aforementioned paradox will arise. This core wound inevitably will express itself while being in this bardo state of this alternation between linear and non-linear experience. Simultaneously, old trauma storylines may be flooding back into your emotional body where they have resided. Temporarily, the structures of abandonment will rise to the surface as you are gradually abandoning the state of separation. You might even feel abandoned by your old abandonment world. Why do you feel it? It was your safe harbor. Dysfunctional perhaps, yet safe and familiar in spite of the pain. It is like a fish coming to live on land, or a being moving from land to water. Either land or water will be missed and grieved until one finds oneself fully immersed in the new residence one has stepped into. So as you are traversing this rainbow bridge, allow yourself to grieve. Allow the sadness, allow the feelings of farewell to arise and express. Allow your footing to be unsteady and tentative at these times. You are abandoning the abandonment state gradually. You are ultimately healing the core wound, and therefore it has to arise before it can be fully left behind. Embrace it, respect it, offer it up. Let it express itself and shed your tears as you are beginning to reunite further with a self that begins to know itself as a timeless expression of awareness, a multi-dimensional being.